Hello students, welcome back to the sqadia.com. So today the topic we are going to discuss is about drug administration and more specifically oral dosage forms and inhalational dosage forms. So oral dosage forms, as the name suggests, you take it from your mouth, it just goes into the stomach and magic happens. While the inhalational route is something different, it just goes into the lungs, rather stomach. Moving on to the next slide, we have immediate release and extended release dosage forms. Let me show the other images so you can clearly understand what's going on. So basically, oral drug delivery can be divided into two forms, immediate release and extended release. Immediate release dosage forms release the drug rapidly upon ingestion, whereas the extended release dosage forms release the drug over a prolonged period of time. So as the name suggests, immediate, rapid onset of action, extended, prolonged release. Let's just take it from an example. Let's say you are feeling acidity in your stomach, so you take the omeprazole. Which form of omeprazole you'll prefer? You'll prefer sachet or the capsule? Obviously, you'll prefer sachet because it has got the rapid onset of action and it will give you the rapid relief, prompt relief, I would say. So, immediate release drugs have shorter half-life compared to the extended release drugs. And they both can be of various forms like tablets, capsules, or liquids. And extended release drugs can be formulated to release the drug slowly over time using a variety of technologies such as diffusion, osmosis, or erosion. So let us move on to the next, and which is drug physiochemical properties and GI transit time. So the GI transit time, it is abbreviated as gastrointestinal transit time. So the drug's physiochemical properties affect the drug release from the dosage form, such as solubility, permeability. We'll discuss it in the next slide. And the GI transit time refers to the amount of time it takes for the food to travel through the gastrointestinal tract, which includes the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. The duration of GI transit time can vary depending on various factors, which we will discuss further, like the person's age, gender, overall health, underlying medical condition. The average transit time for food to move through the entire gastrointestinal tract, which includes the esophagus, stomach to small intestine to large intestine, it usually varies between 24 and 72 hours, although it can be faster or slower depending on the individual circumstances. So the transit time through each section of the gastrointestinal tract can also vary. For example, the stomach can empty in 2 to 4 hours, whereas the small intestine can take 3 to 5 hours and the large intestine can take up to 24 hours. So it just varies. So the next slide. So the GI transit time can be influenced by various factors such as hydration levels, physical activity, stress levels, medications, and underlying conditions. Hydration levels, how much the person is hydrated. Physical activity, if he's doing any physical activity or is just lying on the couch. Stress levels, how much stress he has, like if he's in depression or something like that, or in a survival mode. Medications, like if he has recently took atropine and the atropine significantly reduces the GI motility, and when the GI motility is decreased, GI transit time is increased. Underlying condition, if he is involved into any conditions that affect the gastrointestinal tract, then the GI transit time is significantly affected. So the next we have is drug physiochemical properties, in which solubility, stability, molecular weight, lipophilicity, pH, particle size, and polymorphism is included. So let's just take a quick recap of all these factors. Solubility. The solubility is the ability of a drug to dissolve in a particular solvent. It affects, the drug's absorption, distribution, and elimination. Stability, it refers to the ability of drug to maintain its chemical and physical properties over time. It is for ensuring that the drugs remains effective and safe throughout its shelf life. And lipophilicity, Lipophilicity refers to the ability of drug to dissolve lipids or fats, and it is also related to the molecular weight. Like molecular weight can affect the drug solubility, permeability, and pharmacokinetic properties also, and it just refers to the weight of the drug molecule in short. pH, a drug has to be dissolved in a particular pH medium. So the pH is the alkalinity or acidity of a drug. And particle size refers to the size of the drug particles, and it also affects the drug's absorption, distribution, and elimination. We will discuss it afterwards. And polymorphism refers to the ability of a drugs to exist in different crystals. Like different crystals have different solubility and stability profiles. So this is also important in drugs' physiochemical properties. Next, we have tablet coating. Now, tablet coating is an important topic in which a drug core is enclosed in a thin layer of coating material. Now, this coating material provides different advantages like better protection, better taste, better appearance, faster production, reduced drug interactions, and improved stability. Now, this coat can be of various types: film coating, sugar coating, enteric coating, and controlled release coatings. Now, film coating is a thin layer of polymer which is applied to the tablet or capsule using a spray or dip coating process. Now, this type of coating is often used to improve the tablet appearance, mask unpleasant taste or odors, or protect the drug from moisture or light. Now, next we have sugar coating. This is an older method of coating tablets that involves multiple layers of sugar and other ingredients to form a hard shell. The sugar coating can protect the tablet from moisture and light, as well as improve its taste and appearance. Enteric coating is designed to protect the tablet from acidic environment of the stomach, like if you want to bypass the stomach, and to release the drug in a small intestine, which it can be absorbed more effectively. Enteric coatings are often used for drugs that are sensitive to the stomach acid or that can irritate the stomach line. Controlled release coating is used to modify the release profiles of the drug, allowing it to be released slowly over a period of time. Controlled release coatings can be applied to the tablets or capsules and are often used for drugs that need to be released slowly to maintain a steady blood concentration, or for the drugs that would be too irritating if released all at once. So the next we have capsule coating. So the capsule, what are the capsules? Let us discuss capsules. Capsules are a common dosage form used in pharmaceutical industry in order to deliver medicines orally. It is an oral dosage form basically. Capsule consists of two parts, body and cap, which are usually made up of gelatin, cellulose, polymers. Gelatin and cellulose are both important because they are major factor in the capsule manufacturing. So the gelatin, what is gelatin? Gelatin is a protein-based polymer derived from collagen obtained from animal sources such as bovine or porcine hides or bones. Gelatin capsules are commonly used in pharmaceutical and nutraceutical industries because they are biocompatible, easy to swallow, and dissolve quickly in the stomach. Cellulose, on the other hand, is a plant-based polymer. Now, this is made up of wood pulp, cotton, other natural sources. Cellulose capsules, also known as vegetarian or vegan capsules. Persons who are not, ready to consume gelatin or any animal product, like if they are allergic to the gelatin, they can use cellulose products. So cellulose capsules can be made from either hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, HPMC, you have heard of that, which are both non-toxic, hypoallergenic, and biodegradable. Now the polymers, the choice of polymer depends on various factors such as the required mechanical strength, stability, permeability, and compatibility. Now these mechanical strength, like if you want the hardness and friability testing, stability, you want to store a capsule in order to increase its shelf life, permeability, compatibility, these are all the factors which are necessary for capsule coating. So the next we have is drug pharmacokinetic properties, which is described by an acronym LADME. L for liberation, A for absorption, D for distribution, M for metabolism, and E for excretion. It is basically the study of movement of drugs in the body. Each letter in the acronym, stands for a different stage of the drug's journey through the body. Now let us discuss the liberation. This is the first stage of the drug pharmacokinetics, and it refers to the process by which the drug is released from its dosage form. For example, it can be of a pill or a capsule and becomes available for the absorption. Now, this can be affected by various factors such as the chemical properties of the drug, the formulation of the dosage form, and the route of administration. Next we have is absorption. This stage refers to the movement of the drug from the site of administration, for example, the gastrointestinal tract, skin, or it can be of lungs, into the bloodstream. The extent and rate of absorption can be influenced by various factors such as the solubility, stability, surface area, absorption site, presence of other substances in the body that may affect the drug's absorption. Next we have is drug's distribution. This stage refers to the movement of the drug through the body from the bloodstream and to the site of action or elimination. The extent and rate of distribution can be influenced by various factors such as the drug's physiochemical properties, we have discussed before, the permeability of the cell membrane, the presence of transporters or the binding proteins, etc. Next we have is metabolism. So this stage refers to chemical alteration of the drug by enzymes in the body, usually in the liver, to produce metabolites that are more easily eliminated from the body. Metabolism can affect the pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics of the drug and can also be influenced by various factors such as genetic polymorphism, drug interactions, and disease states. Next we have is excretion. Now this stage refers to the elimination of the drug. Now drug has shown its effects and it is now getting excreted from the body through the kidney or the liver. The rate and extent of excretion can be influenced by various factors such as the drug's chemical properties, the functioning of the organs responsible for elimination, and the presence of other substances that may compete for elimination pathways. Now, understanding the LADME, the stages of drug pharmacokinetics, is crucial in the development and use of drugs because it can help to predict the drug's efficacy, safety, and potential for drug interaction.
Watch our medical videos anytime and anywhere. Download sqadia.com app now.